And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Thursday, February 27th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome here on a Thursday morning. Cloudy and overcast, but going to be a terrific Thursday, a tremendous one or whatever. And we welcome you to our program this morning. We start out Thursdays talking about Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road, the dealer that'll trade for anything it don't eat. Paul Tubbs is with us this morning. Paul, good morning.
Good morning.
Paul is the dealer operations manager for Bates Ford. Ronnie Kelly is here. Ronnie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Ronnie's been in sales for now 38 years. It hadn't been Bates Ford all that time, but and you've changed locations at least once, but you're still around.
Still around.
Yeah. Well, get us started, Paul.
Got a lot going on. End of the month. Got a lot of deals. Ford's got a lot of good rebates on a lot of vehicles. We've got all them Ford Courtesy Transportation vehicles. Of course, you get the rebates and the transportation funds, and you can also get the low APR just depending on what you pick out. We've got Edges, Escapes, several different Bronco Sports, a couple F-150s, but those new vehicles are a really great deal. Your own Susie James, she got her. She come over and looked, and she was looking at Explorers and different vehicles, and she ended up settling on a Bronco, a full-size, pretty blue, Titan blue, actually.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful vehicle, so, we've got a great selection at our new location with our new vehicles. We've got around 200 new and probably another couple of hundred used, so we've got whatever you want to look for. If you want to get on the website, www.tonybatesford.com, and look for something, we certainly do what we can do to put you in a new ride.
Yeah, Ronnie and you and the other friendly salespeople are just waiting for somebody to come in and let you show them what's available.
Yes, and the good thing about it, like, again, we do have a lot of F-150s also. It's a great deals on them right now. And we selling a lot of F-150s, and Broncos have been moving real good also. Some people like the bigger Broncos, some like the smaller ones. And I think Susan, she bought one of the bigger Broncos, and we got some other people looking at some small ones. So we got a lot of great deals on those Broncos, and they're moving right now.
And still, being in sales, you don't want to forget the lesser expensive cars, because everybody maybe doesn't need or doesn't want a $50,000 or $60,000, $70,000 vehicle, and they can get one for $12,000, $15,000.
Yes, we got those also. Again, on those cars, a lot of times when we get those cars in and we get them in service, we run them in and out. Sometimes they're not on the internet at that point, so that's why it's great if you come by and talk to one of our friendly salespeople, and they can show you.
Come on by and see what's there. You get there before it's on the internet.
Right.
Because if you wait till it's on the internet, you might be too late.
Well, I had a guy came in the other day, and he saw it on the internet. And he came by, and it was already gone.
Well, that's it's good to know that you have the new, you have the pre-owned, and you've got one for just about everybody.
Right.
And the selection is so much better now than it was a few years ago when we went through that time of hoping to have to sort of fill the lot, wasn't you?
Right.
Yeah, I can remember during COVID, we had a handful of new vehicles. I mean, I can remember over on our 1673 West Main location, you could look down to what we had called our new car inventory, and you could have a handful of cars. That was kind of when the factories were shut down and Ford wasn't producing, but now they've seemed to really amped up their production, and we've gotten, every day you see carrier trucks bringing in. We got a couple of Mavericks in yesterday. That's a little truck that a lot of people are really enjoying Ford, and it's really inexpensive. Brand new vehicle in the mid-30s, and a lot of times the lesser of them's in the lower 30s or high 20s. So, that's a little smaller truck that Ford's offering. So, they got a great selection of vehicles.
Well, it's passing fast here, but Billy Goodman was wanting us to mention he had a good experience yesterday. You took care of him.
Yeah, Shelly Billy, she does our pickup and delivery, and I was joking, concierge service. When Ford sends me an email for somebody that wants their car picked up and delivered, they call it concierge service, but Shelly does a great job. She come over here to the radio station, got Billy's vehicle. That's one thing Bates Ford takes pride in. We do this pickup and delivery service, and we can do between 5 and 7 a day. Come get your vehicle. Billy, we came over, got his vehicle. He needed brakes and stuff. We did all the work, got it all done for him. brought it right back. A couple hours later, he got his vehicle back. He could stay here, work, do his job. So
and
that's
safe to say he's a happy camper.
He was very happy, and he was bragging on Shelley of her customer service and bragging on how easy it was that he just got to work and we got to come get his vehicle, service it, and bring it back. And that's something that we take pride in. And if you want something like that, if you'll just give us a call at 615-444-8221, ask for Shelley. She'll put you on the schedule. Sometimes I have friends and people call, hey, come get my car today. Well, some days we're booked, so I might have to put it a day out or something, but we'll certainly get it done.
All right, tires, batteries, oil changes.
Ford's doing a pretty neat deal on tires. Buy 3, get 1 free coming up. So, they're going to have a deal where if you buy 3 tires, they're going to give you the 4th one, and it's actually going to be paid for by Ford Motor Company. So if you're interested in that, give us a call. You don't necessarily have to come to Bates Ford to get a price on tires. We've got a little tire sales tool on the website. You can call us. We'll give you the price right there, and, they'll be working the buy 3, get 1 free deal. We also are oil change, $39.95, cheapest in town, up to 5 quarts. Of course, I can't do full synthetic for $39.95. We do the synthetic blended for that price. We also brakes. We do a complete brake service. That's parts, labor, everything for $199.95 per axle. A lot of the brakes, you get lifetime brake pad replacement, meaning if you buy brakes and then 20, 30, 40,000 miles down the road, you need brakes again, Ford will take care of the price of the pads and and all you really have to pay for is the labor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Ronnie, the last word quickly this morning.
Okay, we'll take care of all your vehicle needs. We'd like for you to buy local, and if you can't buy local, we can take care of your vehicle needs, your service needs, and parts. So if you come on down, if you got anything you want to trade in, if you got to turn into cash, come down to Bay Ford, and we'll make it work.
The dealer will trade for anything and don't he?
Right.
Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Thank you all. See you next time.
Thank you.
Okay, we're 11 minutes after the hour. I have invited Fire Chief Jason Baird to be my guest this morning. Jason Baird, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Nice to see you as always. You have stories to tell. You've been in fire protection. I guess that's a way to say that. You've been a fireman for a long time. It's pretty much been your adult life, hasn't it?
Yes, sir. Yep, and I just started February 20th. Was my anniversary date, so I'm starting on year 37 right now. So it's been a long time. Kind of hard to believe, honestly, when I look back on it, and especially when you look at how much we've changed from that perspective. And the men I've worked with through that time period and where we are today, I never in a million years would have thought that we would be where we're at right now.
Who gave you the job the first one?
Reed Hunt Major hired me. Gary Gray recommended me, and then Reed Hunt Major hired me, called me in, and I didn't know exactly what to expect as far as the interview. I was young, very, very young. I was working at Wilson Farmers Co-op and had no ambition to be a firefighter. I loved working at co-op, to be honest with you. And so I come in for my interview, and Chief said, you like coffee? I said, I've never drank coffee. I said, yes, sir, sure do. And he said, sit down for a minute, and he asked me a few questions in front of everybody, and that was my interview process. But what I learned out later is Reed Hunt Major knew every single person in this town, and probably got vetted more than any I would have ever been anywhere else through Reed Hunt. But I was very thankful for Reed Hunt Major hiring me.
Well, since we're telling a story here, we might go to the break with your story. But what was it like when you started? I mean, did you for want of a better term, did you fall in love with the job immediately? I
did. We back then we didn't have as many calls. I mean, honestly, if we had a 3-call day, we were pretty busy. Now we're running 26 a day. So it was different, so different back then, and a lot of retirees back then would hang around. I just had got there; they had just quit doing 24 on and 24 off. So basically, back then, right before I started, you were either getting up at the fire department or coming into the fire department every day back then. So, but the equipment is a whole lot better. But I will say this: since when I hired on February 20th, 1989, the equipment that they gave me from a personal perspective, and the engines they gave us on, we've always had the top-notch stuff, the newest, best technology, and that. I just remember back then the feeling I had when I dealt with my the people I looked up to, And I remember how I felt going through that. So I try to emulate that now and make sure my people know that how much we appreciate what they do every day and things like that.
Was there some sort of initiation period or ritual or whatever initiation thing?
I can tell you this, the things that happened to me in my first 6 months of hire, if we did it today, you would no longer be employed at the fire department. I can tell you that. And I have to discipline for things today that is nowhere near like what happened to me when I hired on. But it was all in fun. And, most time back then, almost every firefighter was a farmer in some capacity. And it wasn't if you worked a second job, you had to work a second job. We just didn't make that kind of money. I mean, I started out, my first job, I started making $5 an hour. That's what I was making when I was at the fire department. And but I went back, like we recognized Mr. Shipper this past year we do a Legend Award at the end of every year.
Charlie Shipper. And so I had his family come in. We gave him the Legend Award from the fire department, and I was pulling his paper up and stuff, and I seen where he went from like $2.35 to $2.75. I'm like, it's almost unfathomable the rate of pay back then, but it was different. Yeah. Everything costs a lot cheaper too back then. But I'll tell you this: those men back there in that generation, my guys now are tough, and I love them, and they work really hard. That generation of men was as tough a man as I'll ever see, I'm sure, because what I watched them do, and I was a kid, I was young, but the things they did with the little amount of equipment that we had back then, it just wasn't available. And Reed Hunt Major, I know when he hired me back then, it was a big deal. You want to make sure whoever hired you want to make sure they were proud that they hired you. Mm-hmm. So if you get an opportunity to perform in front of them, then you wanted to really do good. When my first fire, he was there, obviously. And I'm like, this is my shot. And I couldn't spend 1 minute where the atmosphere he was in, where he was in for the whole fire. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this, but he was just a different breed. I mean, he invented customer service in the city of Lebanon before customer service was a real thing. But Reed was an amazing man. But Charlie Shipper had gone by that time. But Charlie Shipper back in that day, they always said, Charlie, when the tones dropped or we got that call, he'd walk, get on the engine, didn't look beside him, didn't look behind him, put it in drive, and he took off. And that was it. If you was on it, you was fighting fire that day. If you wasn't on it, you wasn't going to get to fight fire that day. And I'll be honest with you, when I made engineer, I always thought about those type of things. And in my mindset, I'm like, if I get on an engine, I don't have anybody on it with me, my workload is going to be 4 times as much as it would be. So I tend to stop and wait for just a few minutes before I take off. All right. Well, it's a good place for us to stop and take a break. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota. They have a deal designed to keep you ahead of schedule. Check out the world's #1 selling compact excavator, plus 0% financing going on now until the end of the year. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. A couple of accidents being cleared up out here. 440 westbound in West End. Also westbound on Briley, right near the Cumberland River Bridge. That wreck is in its clearing stages. Starting at heavy now up through Spring Hill on 65 northbound, passing Saturn Parkway, coming up from Murray County into Williamson County. 65 south also getting a little bit heavier than it was 15-20 minutes ago. Southbound down through Millersville. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken has karaoke tonight at the Tanger location. Check out that menu today. Order online. It's easy. PrincessHotChicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Have you ever desired to live in a stately historical home in the Lebanon Historical District? If so, now you have the opportunity. This is Lou Ann Snyder of A.G. & Johnson Realty, and along with Ed James, we have a large 2-story home listed in the Cumberland University Historic District. It features a brand new roof plus a new HVAC system. Call Ed or myself, Lou Ann, at 615-444-0909 to schedule a tour.
Hey, this is Paul with Bates Ford. Come visit our location at 1780 Franklin Road. We have over 300 vehicles to choose from, a state-of-the-art service department, free pickup and delivery, You can visit us on the web at www.tonybatesford.com or give us a call at 615-444-8221. That's Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road, the dealer that will trade for anything that don't eat.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Our Fire Chief Jason Baird is my guest this morning. We've been talking old times, and around here, old times aren't forgotten.
That's true, very true.
But I guess it's good to have that in your background in a way, and if nothing else, it makes you appreciate the more modern equipment and the more. If I want to use this word, the more humane working conditions even today. You're pretty much on 24 and off 48 now, aren't
Yes, sir.
you? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And you were saying that when you started, you were on to 24 and off 24.
It had just stopped doing that right then whenever I transitioned in, and that was so weird to me. I couldn't imagine being in that. It was hard to work a second job with that type schedule. But the 24-48 allowed you to have a second job, and like I said, almost everybody had one at that point.
Well, I hope that you were able to get a little more sleep at the fire station back then than maybe you do now.
We slept very well back then, and that was the turning point. We transitioned a few years back, probably 15 years, and when we started doing more medical calls, well, that keeps us up at night. And so a lot of the older guys, about somewhere between 15 to 20 years ago, they left at that point because they could not, because they had to work a second job. And the medical calls kept them up at night, and they couldn't do both jobs. And most of them was around their 30-year mark of their career, and so they left at that point. But yeah, we slept good. But right now, you do not sleep at night. It's kind of weird. I see the city through different eyes than everybody else does, because I can look at it like, for instance, this week. This week has been a little bit of an anomaly, but yet not. But we've had, if I told you how many times we performed CPR this week, you wouldn't believe it. And I don't know exactly, sometimes what happens is, and I don't want to put a negative light on the city of Lebanon, but it's the time we're in. But usually if there's a bad batch of drugs or something that hits the streets, we see a big uptick in that type of call volume. But that's not what's happened this week. This week's just been different. And we've had several calls that were, the initial call information was that it was a possible DOA already. And so there was a lot of them that we got to be able to get to work and get back, and some of those not so much. But just the volume of those this week that we've seen. And so when I look at the city of Lebanon through my eyes right now, we have a portion of the city that's grieving for their families and things like that. And you don't think about it from that perspective, but from where we live and the things we do, we see that aspect. So when I look, if I had to define what our community is right now this day, I'd say that we have a lot of families right now that's in a bad spot, and lost a loved one this week, and we've been busy too with car wrecks and things like that. But it just seems like we've had a big uptick this week, and I don't know what's going on as far as that. It's just, but what we've learned is too, our density is getting to where we're so populated now, where I may see a certain type of call once every 2 weeks or so. I mean, there was one time this week that we were on, our call natures was 2 possible DOAs, and it was at the same time. So that type of stuff has changed for us. We just, the calls, the more traumatic calls, we see at a higher volume now and more frequency than what we used to. So,
Well, let's mention Mayor Don Fox. His funeral is scheduled for today, 1:00. Maple Hill Church of Christ visitation will start at 10 this morning. So there's a 3-hour window of opportunity for visitation prior to the funeral. But at what point did you get to know Don Fox?
he was back. We transitioned into the PSO program back then. All the police officers were trained to do firefighting work, and some of the firefighters were trained to do police officer work. And so I did do that. I went to the police academy for 10 weeks, got certified as a police officer. And so during Don's time, I was doing both police and fire. And, Don was the mayor during 9/11 for us. And that day, I'll never forget it. I was on duty that day, and it was just a state of shock, really, all day long. And Don pretty much activated every police officer, and we came in, and I was stationed at City Hall that day for all afternoon and into to closing times. And then we went to working around the clock at the water plants, and any area that we may have had a threat that could come in, we were posting police officers. So that was during Don's time. And then when I remember about Don, when I think about Don was a proud American. And so after 9/11, the next year after 9/11, Don sponsored a parade and it was for first responders. So it was really neat to see all of our equipment and other agencies' equipment, and that's all it was emergency equipment. We went down West Main, went to the square, and Don had a stage set up. We had speakers, and it was a big deal. And I'll never forget that in my career of how proud I was. I actually was in the honor guard at that time and got to carry the American flag down West Main. And a buddy of mine, Bobby Cawthorn, was next to me carrying the state flag, and Chief Wayne Driver was the chief then, and he was with us as we walked down West Main. And so that was a proud time. It was a scary, time period, but I was very proud of what, Don did in his tenure through the fire department, and especially when 9/11 happened, how you could just sense, it was tangible, how he felt about this country and even the city of Lebanon and the things that he did during that time period.
Okay, we got about 4 minutes left here. We'll be getting into budget time. Maybe you already are a little bit, and I'm wondering, you're talking about more calls. Are you going to need more personnel in the fire department in the next fiscal year?
I'm putting in for just 3. I'm hoping to do some promotions internally and grow my administrative staff. My administrative staff is very small, and right now we're at 100 employees. So we're growing at a rate that is, I have to have more administrative staff. And so we're going to replace headcount for those 2 promotions, and then I'm asking to hire 1 more. And that'll put us at 30 people on suppression every single day. So it's hard to imagine that I have 30 people working every day in the city of Lebanon for firefighting related and medical type calls. But I'm going to have a new station in there, a new piece of equipment for that station, and we'll see how that goes. I've talked to the mayor about it several times, and he's been very supportive. Right now we're in the middle of a pay study, and I'll be honest with you, we've kind of just slowed everything down until this pay study gets finished, and probably one of the biggest pay studies.
Excuse me, how long does it take to do a pay study? I have no idea. I'm wondering.
He started the process in like November, December, kind of started it. I met with him, I met with him in October. October 2nd was my last meeting with him, and then we went through the Christmas period and things like that, and then I've met with him since then, about 2 weeks ago. And so right now we're in the final stages of it. So right now I've been given a voice to try to move our people through the pay scale quicker, and so I'm working on those type things. And so it takes some time. It takes probably 6 months actually to get in, and that's because he's allowed us to come talk to him. If we disagreed with some certain areas, they would go back and adjust and some things like that. So it's been a process. It's been a give and take process, but we've had a voice. That's the biggest thing. Yeah,
and I was just sitting here thinking, as you hire somebody, there's no guarantee they're going to necessarily stay with you for a certain period of time. So it's even more incumbent upon you to find somebody that you're not going to have to train and let go and then start all over again.
We're in the Nashville hiring market, so they set the rates, honestly, Nashville does. And if you don't stay close to them, then you're going to be losing your personnel. And that's, when they sign their name on that line, I invest $16,000 in them right then, and their equipment, their fire gear, their radios, everything that they need, uniforms, all that kind of stuff that they need to be successful. And when you think about fire gear and stuff, is any of that stuff reusable? The radio is. Fire gear is measured specifically for that individual. So that's hard. I can't rehire somebody the exact same size most of the time. But that is something that we have to look at too. And you don't want to lose your personnel either. And the market for firefighters right now is as volatile as I've ever seen it. It's so hard to keep up with. But I feel like we're heading in the right direction, and I feel very positive about what the outcome is going to be of this.
All right, we've come to the end of our time here. Fire Chief Jason Baird has been my guest. What I enjoy about your visits, you can talk in depth about just about anything, but especially anything pertaining to the Lebanon Fire Department, and I appreciate you keeping us in the know.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
That is part one of Coleman and Company, and we've got more right here, so keep it here, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. $59.95 up to 5 quarts of oil. Tax and disposal, tire rotation, and safety check. 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Latest accident is going to be in South Nashville, 1400 block of Bell Road. It's loading up pretty good now with some volume 24 westbound as you come past Bell Road, Hickory Hollow Parkway coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, Briley Parkway going westbound. They're near the Cumberland River Bridge. That crash is in its cleanup stages, heavier than it was 15-20 minutes ago on I-40 coming in from Wilson County through the Mount Juliet area. Hey, whether you need a new roof repair, roof inspection, you need independent roofing specialists. Check out irsroofs.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
The refreshing cool after coming in from a hot summer day. The perfect temperature to kick off your shoes and relax with a good book. When the weather heats up, a new Rheem AC system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Are you looking for a great career with a great company? Do you have extensive heavy equipment experience? AMI Construction, based out of Lebanon, Tennessee, is seeking skilled motor grader operators to join our team. The ideal candidate must have a minimum of 2 years operating a grader. We offer awesome benefits, such as company-paid health insurance, competitive pay, and more. If you're interested in joining a growing company, please visit our website at www.amiconstructioninc.com/join the team or call our office 615-547-0797.
We'll have cloudy skies this morning, becoming partly cloudy by the afternoon. Just a slight chance of a passing rain shower. Afternoon highs will be in the lower 60s. Clear tonight, lows in the lower 30s, and then sunny on Friday, highs in the mid 60s. This forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your Severe View forecast, I'm Drew Richards.
We welcome you to part two of Coleman and Company. Each Thursday at this time, we feature the team of A.G. and Johnson Realty and Auction. And usually it's Jay White and Helene Cash. Not always, but it is today. And Helene, yes, we've missed you. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm glad to be back.
Jay White, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
I want to congratulate you, Jay White. You have been named the chairman of the Tennessee Auctioneer Commission.
Thanks,
and I don't know a whole lot about that, but it says that this commission was founded in 1967 and is responsible for licensing auctioneers and firms at all levels. In addition to licensing, the commission is also responsible for enacting rules of or professional conduct and standards of practice. So I think this is quite an honor. It is, isn't it?
It's an honor, and what I will say is that we're very proud of Jay because it is the commission that regulates and holds auctioneers accountable to the rules and the policies of that are set forth for auctioneers in the state of Tennessee.
Well, I know we got some auctions to talk about, but I think this is of paramount importance this morning that we let everybody know of this and congratulate you.
So it's not easy to be appointed to the commission to begin with. The legislature has to appoint you, actually through the governor's office. So to get appointed to the commission to begin with is a difficult task. But now to be appointed the chairman is even further.
Well, I guess some of your attention is going to be directed that way, but you're still going to be doing auctions.
Oh, absolutely. We're still out here in the trenches every day. Every day. It's a great honor to serve down there.
Is this something you necessarily sought, or?
I didn't necessarily, it's a privilege to serve. It's, I kind of feel like, at my age and in my tenure in the auction business, it's kind of my turn to my turn in the sandbox to serve, and I'm privileged to do that. I appreciate the governor appointing me.
Well, congratulations. I think it's well deserved, and it's something we can remember for a while. All right, let's talk auctions.
Let's do that. Let's go back to this. Come back into town. We're not this Saturday, but on the March the 8th, we're going to start here in town. We're going to be out in the Contiki subdivision on Raspberry Lane, 2306 Raspberry, just out north of town. It's not near as far out as it used to be, but just on the outskirts of town here. But out in Contiki, we're going to sell a well-maintained little house out there, 3 bedrooms, 2-bath home. It's just got a nice setting, a nice yard, and a large yard. It's just a great little ranch house out there. We've got lots of personal property to sell next Saturday. So, I'm not planning on going anywhere else next Saturday, but right out there at 2306 Raspberry Lane. So come out and be with us. I mean, if you can't make it all day, you need to come for a part of the day. We've just got lots of great things out there to sell through, yard equipment. If you're looking for lawnmowers or any type of, anything to keep your yards up, to some woodworking equipment. Also, lots of nice household items and those sort of things to sell.
And that's not this Saturday, but
not this Saturday, but the next Saturday.
I like to say this Saturday is our last Saturday off for quite a while.
Well, we hope so. We've been off long enough. We hadn't had a lot of sales, but the weather hadn't been cooperating the best with us here since the first of the year. But we've had a couple of sales through the winter, but we're ready to get started. Looks like spring's in the air. I was out. I had a friend of mine send me a picture of a bald eagle that he had at his house the other day. So, the birds are in the air and, they're singing a little bit. So, when I got up this morning, I could hear, they kind of woke me up about daylight this morning. So I think spring's just right around the corner and we're ready to go to work. So if you're interested in having an auction or thinking about having an auction, please give us a call. I mean, the season's just right around the corner and the weather's going to be great to have a sale. So if you're looking to have a sale, give us a call at 444-0909.
All right. Do you have another one to
Well, we do. We probably do. Well, on March the 15th, we're going out in the Noreen area, and we're going to be selling. We'll talk about it a little later, and maybe next week and the week after, about 30 acres and 6 beautiful estate tracts out there. We've got some beautiful land to sell. So if you're looking to build a house in the spring or summer, just a great little community out there in Noreen, and it's some nice tracts out there that we'll be selling. They'll all be 5+ acres out there. So we'll talk about that a little later.
Okay. Helene, what do you have for us?
So, as Jay said, the weather is starting to change, and it's been sunny, and last few days everybody's wanting to be outside and take care of their yard and get all the beautiful flowers out there. So if you're thinking about selling, if you're thinking about looking, if you're thinking about listing your home, it's a great time to get out there and start looking where you want to live, or if you want to put your house up for sale. But we have some great homes that have come up that people are listing, and some new construction homes. I heard one of our agents have put an ad out. I just heard Luann and Ed have a house commercial here rotating. So we have a beautiful historic home on Spring Street listed if you're interested in a historic home. That's a beautiful place here in town. But we have some new construction homes in Hartsville. So we have I think there's about 4 new construction homes in Hartsville. And we have some tracts of land that are listed. So we have lots of new opportunity. But if you're looking to put your home on the market, it's a great time to have us come out and talk to you about listing your property and see what the opportunities are if you're looking for a new home. It's a great time if you want to give us a call at 615-444-0909. And we can talk to you about the process about putting your home up for sale.
All right. Well, and don't forget the website, too. A lot of wealth of information, really, at www.agandjohnson.com.
Absolutely.
And you've got a great team. There's a few
Jay and I are on there.
Yeah, a few dozen of you, really, who affiliate with A.G. and Johnson. And led, of course, by the two of you, and Hayden is in the mix too, isn't he?
He's out there working this morning somewhere.
He sure is.
Well, he is definitely learning the trade and coming along, and we enjoy having him out here from time to time as well.
Well, I enjoy him coming from time to time. That gives me a break.
All right. Well, y'all have a great one. We'll hopefully do it again next Thursday about this time.
Hey, good day, Coleman.
All right. Jay White, Helene Cash with A.G. and Johnson Realty and Auction. We are now 21 minutes before the hour, and I am going to go to the telephone. My guest, I think, is on the phone, and we're ready to go. And I want to introduce our State Representative Hale, who lives in Smithville and represents District 40. Representative Hale, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning, Coleman Walker.
Well, good morning. It is good to hear your voice and nice to have you. The way we are set up, we just don't get to have you on as much as I would like, to be honest about it. You always do a good job when you are, and I guess we cut to the chase, as we say here this morning, and get going, because we got from now to 8 o'clock to talk about what you've been doing, and I thought maybe I would ask you first, just talk for a little bit about the special session of the legislature that Governor Lee called, and your take on it and what happened, if you could summarize that for us.
Yes, thank you, Coleman, and it's an honor to be able to be on your show again this morning. The special session, we'll hit on that first, as you mentioned. The big thing, there was a lot of discussion, a lot of heated discussion, controversy, maybe you'd say, over the special session. But a couple of things that I want to mention, regardless where you were at on the issue. There are several things, and the reason that drove me that I felt like I did the right thing, and I still stand by that 100%, was in the 40th district, even the part of Wilson County that I serve, there's not a public or a private school that'll benefit from this. But every public school in the 40th district and across this state benefits from the maintenance of effort part that, for instance, I'll use DeKalb County since it's home real quick. Last year they lost 33 students. Those students didn't go to private school. Those students primarily went to homeschool, just drop out, whatever that reason was. But Coleman, the county would have lost those students, and the way it was, they would have lost over $200,000, $210,000 plus in funding. Well, then that starts looking at positions or tax increases to make up that gap. Mm-hmm. But for the 40th district, now for DeKalb County, if they drop 30 students again, they maintain the floor of what their 24-25 enrollment is, and they would never drop below that with that maintenance of effort. So that is huge in rural counties where they need every dollar they can get. And then plus, for two of the counties, it meant the $25 per student for the infrastructure monies. Jackson County is set right now to lose $94,000, and there was $3.3 million in there that saved that $94,000 from Jackson County. So Jackson County, because of an economically disadvantaged calculation and some other things, was set to lose over $300,000 this next year. But because of this, now they're set to lose $100-something thousand. So, when I'm looking at it from those standpoints, if you don't support parent choice and, your public school, this was very much driven for me, for Michael Hale, for what it did for public schools. And so, it's not taking anything away. People, all the controversies, But that's what drove me to vote and why I stand behind the vote that I cast. I was looking out for those rural schools. I was looking out for our people. And we've even got a private school at the church that I'm on the church board. It's a Category 4 school, does not even qualify for the money. So even though I have a school that's right across the street basically from my funeral home, still has nothing to do with it. I was looking at it, and I had all the numbers, and I asked question after question. So now that we're beyond that, there's a lot of great things that we are doing for families, for businesses, and for the people of Tennessee every day.
All right, let me just quickly ask about the help for East Tennessee where the flood damage occurred, and there was another one. I'm drawing a blank right quick here, but just comment on those two if you would.
Yes. The big thing was the East Tennessee relief. You know, some people were talking about how that was going to. That it was all tied together. The governor was the one that had the right to call the special session to set the guidelines of what would be covered in the special session. That was totally on the governor. And so we addressed the members from East Tennessee and with some of the mayors that came and testified in committee as we were going through special session. These were the things, the property tax, basically a rebate that'll be handled through the comptroller's office to give those because they've lost homes, they've lost property, so they'll get there's a grant fund that'll be set up, and then they'll be able, they pay their property tax, then they basically will get that back through the comptroller's office. So, but the way we did those things were totally set up, and the ask from this is what the members from East Tennessee said, this is what we need right now. And so there's and that's why we did it the way we did it. We funded what we funded was to that these members said this is what we need for East Tennessee.
Okay, let me remind everybody, Representative Michael Hale, representing District 40, is my guest this morning, and we're going to take a break right here, and more coming up here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota. They have a deal designed to keep you ahead of schedule. Check out the world's #1 selling compact excavator, plus 0% financing going on now until the end of the year. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Wrapping up this earlier wreck, westbound Briley Parkway at the Cumberland River Bridge. Also a crash being moved to the side, 5500 block of Charlotte Pike. It's gotten heavy now here the last few minutes, 65 southbound as you approach Trinity Lane. It continues to load up with more volume on 24 west up by Bell Road, coming in right now from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. When you need dependable towing here in Middle Tennessee, you need STR Towing and Recovery. Check them out online at strtow.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's tax time, and Cars Unlimited Tax Service is locally owned and has 33 years of experience in preparing taxes. They do upfront loans of $250 to $6,000. They're also an authorized IRS e-file provider. Call 615-449-2955 or stop by 1006 West Main Street in Lebanon. Cars Unlimited Tax Service stands ready to help you prepare your taxes.
Are you thinking about buying a new home? Let A.G. & Johnson assist you with your new home search. From the first-time home buyer to the empty nester, we are experienced in all facets of the home buying process. We will be with you every step of the way. No matter if you are buying, selling, downsizing, or upsizing, we can assist you with your real estate needs. Call us at 615-444-0909 or find us online at agandjohnson.com or Facebook A.G. & Johnson Realty. A.G. & Johnson is your community's trusted realty and auction company.
Hi, Phoenix fans. I'm Marcelo Saldana, a left-handed pitcher on the Cumberland baseball team from Clovis, California. The Phoenix will be at home on the weekend with a 4-game series versus Michigan Dearborn. We could really use your support, so come out onto the 6 where all the veterans get in free. Hear all of our games on these radio stations or online at WANTFM.com or GoCumberlandathletics.com. Check the Cumberland website for game times and schedule changes. I'll see you at the 6.
That's the way it is. We we continue here on this Thursday morning. And if you joined us late, State Representative Michael Hale, representing District 40, is here. We talk about this and kind of laugh a little bit that there's a sliver, that's the best way I know how to describe it, a little area of Wilson County in District 40, for which Michael Hale is the representative, but Mr. Hale, Representative Hale, is a funeral director in Smithville, if you haven't met him or know about him, and we're glad to be able to have him from time to time to pick his brain a little bit, find out what's going on. And so we talked about the special session. Let's move on. What's going on now, and what would you like to talk about, to tell us about what's been going on the last week or two?
It's very busy now, Coleman. We are full steam ahead with committee process. This year, I'm chairing the TennCare subcommittee. So, with that was a new, I guess you would say, wrinkle in the horn, so to speak, new experience and a new ask from the speaker, and I'm honored to be entrusted with that opportunity to chair the TennCare committee. So that brings on other meetings, and then you meet with the stakeholders, and you meet with the other chairmen and those kinds of things. So that was all kind of a new thing this year. And then just our committees. We've been doing budget hearings. Speaker put me on Finance, Ways and Means this year, and so this session. So I'm involved with the budget hearings, which are usually Monday morning and then Tuesday evening, and so a pretty full schedule. We're moving through and through the Finance, Ways and Means, just being able to see where the money's going and what the new ask and why, and are they being good stewards of the taxpayers' monies, and just looking at all of those different things and stuff. So that has been a great experience of serving on the Finance, Ways and Means. And so we're moving bills. This week I had two in subcommittee. Next week, between sub and full, I'll have, I think, 7 or 8 that'll be in the committee process next week, plus chairing, plus the committees that we sit on. And so very busy. I'm also serving on bank and sub, on commerce, insurance, and of course TennCare, and then Finance, Ways and Means. So very busy with that. We've had a lot of days on the Hill these last few weeks, and yesterday was a very busy day with several organizations having their day on the Hill and stuff. So it's been very busy, but very productive at the same time. The bills I had yesterday, I'll just hit these real quick. First of all, the one bill that I had is a post-certified campus police officer bill. We carried the bill last year, didn't get it funded, so we're hoping to get it, and that's the way things work around here. You'll carry it 1 year, you may not get it through the process, but you don't get it funded, and then you move it a little bit further the next year. So what that bill would do is any campus police officer, they're post-certified, they meet the same qualifications as any city officer, county officer, and those city and county officers now get an $800 training supplement. And this would just include the campus officers. They, for whatever reason, were not included when that original supplement pay was done, so this would just bring those into that. And so we moved that through committee, unanimous vote yesterday, and so it'll go through into full committee next week. And then the other bill that I had yesterday, this was actually brought from Vanderbilt, which has the hospital in Lebanon and the one downtown. And what it does is, in current code, the word anticipated death for a RN, they can pronounce if it's an anticipated death, whether they're in the hospital, nursing home, whatever. And but what we're doing is removing that word anticipated. If they're in a nursing home, if they're already in the hospital, if they're in a long-term care facility, we're removing that word anticipated where RNs are able to pronounce, because what's happening, for instance, in DeKalb County, if a person passes away and not on hospice in a nursing home, then those people, when they pass away, they have to be transported to the hospital, pronounced. In Jackson County, they're having to take them to Putnam County because there's not a local hospital in Jackson County. So this would allow, they're in a licensed healthcare facility, this would just allow them to be able to, an RN would be able to pronounce, and of course the doctor signs the death certificate and all that. We're freeing up resources because right now you're tying up an ambulance, you're tying up the ER, you're tying up, and it's coming at a cost because many of these are on TennCare, Medicare, Medicaid, those kinds of things. So we're bearing the expense for that. So it's going to free up that. So it's going to be a savings, a help, and then the ultimate thing is to make it better for families that when their loved one passes away. Many times the hospitalist or an ER doctor is tied up on an emergency. Well, if that RN can go ahead and pronounce, then they're able to get their loved one released to a funeral home and to move towards arrangements for their loved one rather than it being an hour or two because the doctor is tied up in emergency cases or trauma cases or whatever. So that's a bill that we brought yesterday, unanimous vote, moving it through subcommittee. So very big thing and a help, and especially that's one of those asks from Vanderbilt that's right in Wilson County, and so got a lot going on, but very excited.
Let me ask you this. You were mentioning 2 or 3 minutes ago here about being on a particular committee there, and I think you get an idea, you get a view about where money is being spent, and we're hearing so much about the waste that is in our federal budget and the waste from Washington, D.C., and especially if you listen to the right people talking about it, it sounds awful. And personally, I think it is pretty awful, the waste that we have in our federal government. But you are probably on a committee in a position here. Do you feel pretty good about how our state money is spent? Do you see a lot of waste, really?
You know, as we've been going through the budget process on Finance, Ways and Means, there's one department that we had a hearing the other day. There was some tension, you know, and they're asking for more money, and it's like, what have you done with this money and stuff? Matter of fact, we asked that department to come back. They're coming back, I think, on the 19th of March because there was more unanswered questions than there were answered questions, and it's like, why are you needing more money? And then there's some other departments. It's like, okay, you're asking for $7 million more, but you still got $2 million of this year's. What are you doing with that? Why are we asking for more money? So holding these departments and these people accountable and going through piece by piece of the department, and that's the good thing, Coleman, is you get to see each individual agency and department and what they're doing good, what they're doing right, and then, you know, a question was asked to a department yesterday, I believe it was, or day before yesterday, do you have the funds that you need to carry out the programs you're doing? Are you, you know, and so we look at, you know, are there things we can do? Can we cut positions and still be able to maintain the services and maintain what each one of these departments, and you know, so we hold them accountable, and there's definitely some ways, and I hope that this year is one of those years that we look and say, okay, we can do this better, but we can save this money, we can do this and cut some of those things.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to ask one other thing. We've and our listening audience is not limited to the Wilson County line. Hopefully, we get into all adjoining counties. But your portion of Wilson County is because you do have that is one reason we're featuring you here, because you are definitely part of some of the people you represent here in Wilson County. Definitely part of our listening audience. But where I'm headed with this, is there much difference in the needs of the people people you serve in Wilson County as opposed to the rest of your district? I'm just wondering about that, because you're serving all the people of District 40, and which does include a few in Wilson County. Are there various needs of the different counties you serve, or is it pretty much generally the same?
Many of the needs, Coleman, are the same, but then there's some unique needs. You take, Wilson County has some growing pains that they have to deal with that Cannon and Jackson are more struggling pains, and they don't have the growth, and they don't have the sales tax base, and don't have the revenue, and even for Smith and DeKalb. So, I hear this a lot. I'll say this, like our people from DeKalb County driving through Watertown, because DeKalb County's fixing to build a new elementary school, and so they'll look at Watertown High School and they say, well, why can't we have that and have that, the football field and the facilities and all that? And it's like, Watertown didn't pay for that. It took Lebanon and Mount Juliet and those tax revenues from there to pay for that. Our rural counties don't have that. So there's unique needs in each one of them. Many of the things, when we pass something or we do, it affects the 7 million that call Tennessee home, but then there's some things that we do that helps maybe the rural counties a little bit more, and then there's some things we do that helps those, so the needs, many of them are the same, but then there's those unique needs for each, just because of the size of the counties, just because of the growth or lack of growth, so you have some uniqueness to it too.
All right, very, very, very good. Appreciate that. And we've come to the end of our time here, but Representative Michael Hale, thank you so much for being with us. I don't know when we'll do it again, but I'll try to arrange for it to not be too long. And just thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much, Coleman. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, that's going to do it for Thursday, and I hope you'll join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a tremendous day.